Hello everyone, and welcome to another podcast session with my friend Anil, where we discuss about spirituality and all that we have learned in our channeling sessions, which I put in my main channel. The link will be on the description as well. And today we are going to discuss about biorhythms and about actually I forgot
The arc of the covenant.
second one.
The arc.
Arc of the Covenant and biorhythms. And also, before we start this podcast, I would be grateful to all of you if you could like this. It will help it to spread to other people. And with that, I welcome Anil to the podcast.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for this opportunity to be of little service in a small way. Hello, everybody. Before we go into, I must say that the purpose of this podcast is to raise the understanding and the vibration of current human collective. I would encourage each entity to approach these topics with an open mind and heart, seeking to understand the deeper spiritual truths and only accept those thought forms that resonate with their inner heart, leaving behind those that do not resonate with it. Just one of the things, I was reading the comments, and one of the listener suggested that we should get some native English speaker to do there were a lot of spelling mistake in the subtitles, but these subtitles, actually we are not doing it. The subtitles are actually done automatically by the YouTube, by their translation or AI, whatever they are using. If you want to read things, we do have a PDF, which a link is there, and you can download it, and it is very nicely prepared, so you can have and read it there for your own time, and you can also pass it on to people who likes to read. So that's being said, today I think we have a very nice topic: biorhythms. Biorhythms, on this planet Earth, we don't have a very limited understanding of biorhythms of human entity. So biorhythms are basically cycles or patterns which are found to influence various aspects of an incarnation of entity life cycles, such as physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual well-being. The mind-body-spirit complex, or an entity, is born under the series of influences, both lunar, planetary, cosmic, and in some cases karmic. And we know that from astrology. We know astrology is basically finding out the influences of various planets, cosmic and cases. But nobody really talks about biorhythm, which is maybe not as much details as astrology. So it is also starts with the movement of birthing into this illusion, or on the planet Earth. The biorhythm begins as well, which operates with the quality of a sine wave. So I assume people know what is a sine wave. People know, like a AC cycle or electromagnetic cycle or AC current. It follows a sine wave, goes up and then down and up. So it's a very common, I think everybody knows it. Otherwise, just check with somebody if you are not aware of how the sine wave looks. So I assume people know about sine waves. So as I said to you, we humans on the planet Earth has a very limited understanding about the aspect of biorhythms. There are 4 different types of biorhythms. One is a physical biorhythm. The second one is emotional biorhythm. And the third one is intellectual biorhythm. And the last one is the spiritual biorhythm. In the physical biorhythm, where the physical bodily complex follows a 23-day cycle, where in the 23 days is considered to be the most vital point of the physical activity, and the performance of the physical body complex is extremely high at the time. So basically in 23 days a cycle, and one day, in 23 days we have the peak and then we have the down. So in 23 days we always have the one peak of 1-2 days here and there of the best performance of our physical activity. We feel really, really, active and physically strong. The emotional biorhythm follows a 28-day cycle, which we already know a little bit about it because lunar also cycle is 28 days, and people know that 28-day cycle affects us emotionally, with the lunar cycles and full moon and no moon. So it is this the emotional biorhythm is responsible for influencing the mind's body spirit complexes, emotional states of consciousness. The higher points in the cycle are associated with positive emotion and experiences, whereas the low points may be considered as a period of emotional instability. However, this type of distortion can be changed by the entity's free will, as the choice of choosing an emotional state is independent of any type of biorhythm. However, this implies to those entities who are unconscious of their biorhythms. So what basically we are saying that, there is a biorhythm, but you can always have a free will and consciously choose, even when you are at the low point in the cycle and you are feeling a little bit shaky, a little bit unstable, you can choose to be positive thinking and bring your spirits up. This is only applies to people who are unconscious and does not aware that you can actually change your emotional state. You are in control, not your mind is in control. So once people know that they are free will and they can change anything by their own free will, this does not really apply as such. And the intellectual biorhythm follows a 33-day cycle. It is associated with mind, body, spirit complex ability of memory and mental agility. So in 33 days, once in a month, or for a few days, we are very high on intellectual. Our mind really works really fast, and memory is sharp. So we need to understand how this, and I'm sure people know, in sometimes at work or when they're studying, some days they're really, really, really sharp, and other days not so good, and sometimes they are really, really down, even they are so good. So you need to now notice this and start observing it, and then you will see, okay, it really matches. And the spiritual biorhythm flow follows a 38-day cycle on planet Earth, which influences the person's intuitive and spiritual endeavors. So a spiritual biorhythm is a 30-day cycle. Some of you who are aware of Ra's work or Ra contact work, the Ra has mentioned the spiritual biorhythm is 18 days in that channeling sessions. So I have requested Sam to check why there is a discrepancy of 18 and 38 days, because it's been 40 years, whether there is a distortion in the channel or the channel got corrupted while. And we will get back to you on that. But I have requested Sham to check with Ra or Galactic Federation to figure out the discrepancy here. So once we have that, we will let you know. But for right now, assume 38 days. It was a Galactic Federation on September 18th session. But we will confirm back to you very soon. These biorhythms only are applicable for entities who are unconsciously controlled by their subconscious pattern. So as I already mentioned, that once you're aware of this and you're aware, you can change your biorhythms, or you can control your biorhythm by changing your mindset. So this is only for people who are not aware, but it is always nice to know that where in the cycle you are here. And as you already know, that the Raw contact people have a computer program where you can put your date of birth, and he can and it can calculate your all the rhythms. Of course, now we have a little discrepancy about spiritual one, but the other three are exactly matching, and we will resolve it very soon. Sam, do you have anything to add to biorhythms?
Yeah, I just want to say, I think, biorhythms, implies that we all go through some kind of rhythm, in our life. And, like Anil said, 38-day cycle. I think it is the point where we can spiritually evolve when the peak cycle begins. And also, I think it's important for people to understand that if they become self-aware, the moment they become self-aware, they will begin to free themselves from this pattern of unconsciousness, like Anil was saying, which I think, boils down to basically simply being aware of, your moods or your emotional state, or, what happens, in your own self on a cyclical basis. Because, normally I think we don't even know what we don't remember what we had for breakfast yesterday or for dinner. It's very difficult, for us to keep tabs of the cycles in our life. That's one of the reasons why I think it's very important to just maybe you can write it down on some piece of paper. If you're feeling some kind of emotional, positive emotion as well, just write it down. Or if you're feeling some negative emotions, and if you keep on doing that, if you keep on maintaining, when it's happening, you may actually see that there is a rhythm. So it's like an ebb and flow. And I also believe that you can escape this biorhythm completely by mastering your emotions. So you can choose to always be in your high cycle where you have positive emotions, and that comes, I think, with a bit of self-awareness and choice. So that's all I wanted to add.
Thank you, Sam. That's very well said. And I will just add to what Sam was saying is that, at the time you are, if you, as I've been saying on the before, that you cover yourself with the state of gratitude and gratitude and positive thoughts, the load time will go away, and you will pull in the positive energies from the universe. And I will go to that in the next session, next podcast, which will talk about synchronicities, which is very related topic. But we will talk about that, so you can use that knowledge as well to change your emotional states or any state and get into it, or be with a positive person when you're feeling down. Be with positive person; they will lift you up. So there are many techniques which will help you overcome the situation you are in, and the best is to be self-aware, and then it will go. Because once you're aware, you will fix it. It's always like you have a disease and you're not aware that you're ill, you will not able to fix it. Well, once you're aware that there is a illness, you will fix it. You will do something about it. So that said, let's go to the next topic, Ark of the Covenant. And not many people, only people who follow Christianity will be well aware of Ark of the Covenant. Most people who are not following Christianity may not have heard of Ark of the Covenant. But I assume the listeners who are aware, for them, and I think it's a very topical because it's a universal thing and it's a history of Earth. So it is very important topic and it's very current right now, why I'm talking about this. The Ark of the Covenant device was given to an entity known as Moses by the fifth density negative polarity Orion entity, which disguised itself as a one infinite creator. So people know Moses from the First Testament in Jewish, and then of course Christianity. Everybody knows the story of Christianity and must have heard of Moses in TV series or some films. They must have. The Ark of Covenant included 2 tablets and the 10 commandments. These commandments or rules were in essence a distortion of the negative polarity, because all the rules of control are laid down by the negative. These rules were handed down in the positive framework, and the entity known as Moses felt that it was doing a great service to the unity consciousness or one infinite creator by spreading this knowledge of the 10 commandments. So as you know, most of the 10 commandments are really, really good. You should help your neighbor. You should always do charity work. But then in the last, few that if you don't listen to me, I will destroy you, I will burn you. The one infinite creator don't do that. They don't say that, these kind of control mechanisms. So you can already see that there is a negative, a positive has been mixed and the negative philosophy has been overcoated with the sweetness of the positiveness, so that it is easily digestible to you. And the judgment day, that once you die, you will be judged by somebody outside of you. And as we have already talked about that at the end of the this incarnation, there is no judgment. Nobody is judging nobody. You will self-review your life, and you will decide what lesson you need to learn and to move on. We have already talked about life review process, and later on we in advanced series we will cover in detail these topics again. So I will say there is no judgment, there is no threat, to destroy. One infinite creator does not do that. Everybody is the same, and everybody has a free will to do what they want to do, and there is no punishment, there is no judgment of any time. So I must repeat that. So therefore Moses basically thought it was the one infinite creator who appeared in front of you, where it was basically negative polarity oriented entity, and disguise themselves, which is their standard. They deceive people. That is the negative polarity. So they deceive Moses, but Moses was innocent and did not really. He was not. He was unaffected by this. Even he had done in his ignorance this negative work in that sense. The instruction for the creation of the Ark of the Covenant, which acts as a channeling device of electromagnetic for channeling in streaming energy from the Orion star system, and for the purpose of spreading electromagnetics of synchronicities which pull negative polarity and negative situation towards such a location wherein the device is activated. So basically, this Ark of the Covenant is a electromagnetic device. It pulls in the in-streaming energy, negative energies, and synchronicities from Orion star system, which is the negative polarity star system, and bring to the place where this device is activated. So I think, in my understanding, it creates this kind of connection between Orion star system and then so the energy is flowing there, kind of a temporary connection between them, and then the negative energies can come through it in the land where this device is and is activated. The location of the Ark of Covenant previously was in lands of Ethiopia, and recently it has been shifted by the some of the negative polarized human entity who work as a bidding or a bidders for Orion entities, who basically works for Orion entities like our Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. So they're gophers. So these human gophers have basically moved recently from Ethiopia to the location known as Kiev in Ukraine. So the device, this Ark of Covenant, has been recently moved to the location of Kiev in Ukraine. And this is the reason for large number of distortion of negative polarity or negative energy. The war is the biggest manifestation of negative energy in Ukraine. And because of the activation of the Ark of the Covenant in the land of Ukraine, which feeds upon negative forces, and more fear and anger and hatred, the more powerful it becomes. So it feeds on itself, it creates more fear, more anger. And as you have observed in last 2 years, what's happening in that land, I mean, they don't want peace. They're just making up stories, more fear, more anger, more hatred, and destroying this planet completely. I'm not sure recently whether that has been again moved because this session was I think was to us in 2022. So it might have it might have that the Ark of Covenant has moved to Israel or Gaza. I will request Sam to check upon that if they have moved the Ark of Covenant to Israel and Gaza to create havoc there, which is we all witnessing right now. What a nightmare people of Gaza has been going through, and Israel is doing this. So it would have moved there as well recently. But we will come back to you as soon as we find out if it has been moved. So just to say that if any positive entity by chance come in contact with this device, they must not get scared. The entity must take the device and then bury it inside a chamber of love and light of water. Once this device is stored in a chamber of love light exposed water, this will neutralize the energies in the streaming from the electromagnetics of Ark of Covenant device, which is causing the negative synchronicity to be attracted to it. So basically, if by chance, if some positive entity come in contact with it, not to be scared of it, take it and bury it in a chamber and then expose it with the love and light and the water, and we can all do a meditation on this and holy water to sprinkle on it, and it will neutralize the energy of electromagnetics and deactivate it. Sam, do you have to add anything to it?
Just also, I think, like Anil said, like the negatively oriented entities, they are excessively advanced, so I think what they usually do is they try to, just use like very advanced method of manipulation, right? So they will mix in some positive truths, and then at the end, it will somehow be a means of controlling humanity. And that's what we have seen with the 10 Commandments, I think, which, like Anil said, is, I think, 70% positive, but there is a mixture of control over there. And also, the Ark of the Covenant, I will definitely channel. I remember, about this, and I will do that in the coming days. And that's all I wanted to add, because Anil has covered it wonderfully in this. And is there anything else, or Subhi?
No, this is very good. So, Sam, I think if you can do that little session just to cover these two, one is to check if the Ark of Covenant has moved from Ukraine or is it still there or has gone to, Gaza or Israel. And the second is to find the discrepancy we are having with the spiritual, cycle. There is a discrepancy before in one of the Ra sessions in the Ra context, as you know, was Ra has given 18 days and we have 38 days by Galactic Federation. So we want to know whether this has changed with the time or why there is a discrepancy. So just so people know that, both are correct and maybe something has happened in the space-time. Now it is 38 days. Maybe 40 years ago, it was 18 days.
I see. Okay, great. So thank you all so much, all of you who joined, and thank you, Anil, as well. So we will see you in the next sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.